Welcome to Escaping Purgatory, a podcast where we rewatch Supernatural, then talk it through in hopes we can finally escape this show.
Join us each week, leave comments on upcoming episodes, and together we can escape Supernatural Purgatory.
Hello.
Hiya!
I don't know why that reminded me of in the Lego movie when they go into like the Wild West. It's like, ay-ya-ya!
I haven't watched that for years.
I think I watched it like a month ago because I don't know, recently I watched it. Yeah. So this week we are talking about season 5, episode 13. The Song Remains the Same. Written by Sarah Gamble and Nancy Weiner and directed by Steve Boyum.
Boyum.
Apparently we're in a silly mood today, and that's fine. And see, last week I was like, oh no, this is going to be kind of a good one, I think. It's really not. It's so this episode has a lot of the phrases and things that we have been referring to.
Yes, definitely.
And now in the series, and I feel good about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's a lot of good lines in here. There is a lot of good lines. I don't mind this episode. I don't mind it. I think that's as far as I feel about it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, it's, even though it's kind of plotty, you know, it's just like another character got killed.
Yeah. In a plot
episode, and like, it's not really clear as to why Michael killed her.
Just because she's trying to stop the apocalypse, and he wants the apocalypse. That's why.
Yeah, but like, he has the power. Like, I feel like had he said something to her rather than just killed her, she might have just, I don't know.
It's like grandstanding too, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just a dick.
Oh yeah. I mean, there is that too.
I guess I should say up front, like, I feel like we could discuss the Winchesters here, but we're not going to discuss the Winchesters here. We'll do a separate episode at some point. There's some things to be said.
Yeah, definitely. I think so I am actually watching it, like, and I don't know what happens yet. Amy knows what happens.
Oh, I haven't watched it.
But she hasn't watched it. So we're in like this weird limbo right now. So yeah. I need to basically I need to catch up to the end, and I have like, I'm halfway through the series, halfway through the season.
Yeah.
I just need to get on with it basically and finish it off.
Yeah, but like, we're busy people, you know?
Yeah. Yes, we are. So yeah, we'll do. And that way, like, if you don't want to listen to it, because it will have obviously massive spoilers.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it because it's not going to be in this one.
See, it was all absolutely intentional. Was supposed to work out this way.
If I learned anything in art school, is that it's always intentional.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I guess we can get into it. I'm not sure what I'm going to say about this episode apart from what was in it.
There's a few bits, I guess. Yeah. It's a lot happens, and like, then, but for no reason. You know?
Yeah.
That's the problem with time. Right, okay, no, I'm going to go it. I'm going to have my time travel rant. This is the problem with going back in time, because I can't change anything, because then things would have been changed. You can't have a paradox. Right? True. Because, like, in this episode, they're like, we should never have been born. And it's like, yeah, but if you were never born, then you wouldn't go back in time to make yourself never been born. I can't with it anymore. I'm fed up of time travel. That's my lesson, from this.
There's one more time traveling episode, right? In this, in terms of the Winchesters and their family.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I think so, because it doesn't John have a conversation with somebody?
I don't remember. My brain's all mushy today. Like, the time travel's done it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other time travel ones where they don't really have that much of an effect is fine. Like when they go get the coal and they go get, like, Dean goes back to the 1940s and has that amazing outfit.
That's good, that one. The Titanic.
Yeah.
That time they killed Hitler. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All those ones.
Because that affects their world, not like anything, but not their storyline. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I like Doctor Who rules where, like, once, and like they do mess this about sometimes. It really annoys me. But with Doctor Who, like, once they're in the story, once they're in the adventure, they can't just, like, go back in time and say, no, this isn't happening. Like, once you're in, you can't use time travel to just, like, solve it.
Right.
Otherwise, you'd never had any episodes of Doctor Who. Like, it just wouldn't work out. She's constantly just going back in time and saying, no, that doesn't happen. I feel like those rules should apply here. And I guess they do. I hate time travel. I've had enough. No. Yeah. Watch the Winchesters.
Awesome. So with the recap, it's the introduction of Anna becoming an angel. We then see a lot of, in the beginning of, like, Dean realizing he's in 1973 and meeting Mary and John for the first time, and then seeing, it's still very uncomfortable to see Mary have to kiss her dad. It's still, I still hate that. So we see the deal go through, and Cass saying destiny can't be changed, Dean, all roads lead to the same destination. How time has changed. This was, what, a season ago? Season and a half ago? And, like, Cass is a completely different angel.
Yeah, it's like, screw your destiny.
Basically. I love how useless he is in this episode too. I mean, he is and he's not.
Yeah, he's like the architect of this episode and also, like, completely not in it this whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole time. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, so we are in a strip club and Cherry Pie by Warren is playing.
She's my cherry pie. That's it again.
Yes, that one. And Dean is watching a woman dressed as a sexy devil dance, and he's like, oh, I take it back, I love the devil. And then an angel comes in and starts dancing with the devil, and it's all straight sexy, which is, like, not sexy at all.
You're so right.
And then the two women, like, separate, and Anna's there, and he's, like, kind of really uncomfortable.
Better.
Anna's like, so this is what you dream about? And Dean's like, this is kind of awkward. And, why are you gate crashing my head? Why don't you swing by the motel? Which got me thinking, if Anna has the power to get into dreams, like it seems like most angels do, why isn't Lucifer manipulating Sam's dreams more? I know he did it in the beginning of this with Jessica, but that was, like, also real. So, like, wouldn't Lucifer be doing that to, like, keep pushing him to say yes?
Yeah, you think so? Like, I mean, I would like the explanation that the angel warding means they can't get into their dreams, and then Anna just says, no, I'm, like, I can just bypass that and come in, so it doesn't really work. Like, because I feel like I feel like Cass's protection should protect their minds as well, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe because her and Dean had relations. There's some kind of imprint on his soul that means she can psychically connect with him.
Oh, okay, yes, that is the case.
That's the only explanation I can find.
Yeah, I know. I do appreciate the way that Dean talks to her in this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he really shows that he cares about her. Like, just the way that his tone is kind of soft.
Yeah, you're right. He does talk to her with, I guess, a bit of respect.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Because if you think of the way he talks to all angels, he's like, oh, they're douches, and like, he's very short with them, but he's like, you know, asking her,
where have you been?
He doesn't even do that with Cass.
That's true. But as far as we know, they haven't had relations. Not on screen.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I do think that. But I will say there comes a switch in this episode as to how they start talking about Anna. But you're right, in the beginning, he is treating her like a person. I think that's the way it is, really.
Well, and I'm wondering if it's because they met her as a human first, and then her essence, her angel grace is found, so then she becomes an angel. So it's almost like a similar situation to his, as in like she was one person before, and then because of an angel or the grace of an angel, she then is now an angel.
I think I can see that. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because she's Anna. They knew two Annas, really, right? They knew human Anna and they knew angel Anna, and they don't particularly like angel Anna, really.
No.
So it's it's a difficult one. But yeah, I know I did notice the tone though. The tone is good. But I guess it's hard to hard to differentiate when someone looks exactly the same.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So she reveals that Cass was the one who turned her into the other angels and set her up in prison for this whole time. He refers to Cass as a good little soldier, which I thought was kind of interesting. I wonder if that was the start of like things ticking over for Dean, because you know there's certain language that he doesn't particularly like, and that's definitely one of them.
Yeah. So
Anna had broken out, and she wants to meet Sam and Dean at 225 Industrial, and she tells him to hurry. At the warehouse, Anna's walking through, and I kind of like how like it's all spooky, like there's whispering going on and the wind and the stuff, and she's like freaking out, I guess, because obviously she thinks she's being hunted by other angels because she broke out of prison.
Yeah.
And then all the lights like burst into flames and stuff. I'm like, we don't get this enough with Cass. We really don't.
And also, like, we know he can appear without doing this, so like, why are you showing off Cass?
Because he's showing off.
Yeah.
I guess.
Some kind of like angel dominance thing going on. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like a pecking order with chickens. Yeah.
Anna's wounded, so he's showing his prowess, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
So Cass says, you know, Sam and Dean wanted to come, but he told them not to.
If you're out of prison, it's because they let you out. They sent you here to do their dirty work.
She's asked, why are you so sure? He says, because I've experienced heaven's persuasions. And he admits that what he did was a mistake, but she doesn't want to hear it, basically. And that's kind of understandable. Like, she was tortured for however long she was there for. Like, that's not something that you would easily forgive, especially since they were supposed to be friends.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. I wonder if Naomi had her, like, little fingies in this. I mean, obviously, we'll get introduced to her later, but yeah, I think so.
That's the implication that we can put on it, because we've seen it all. She pulls out a knife and she's like, well, Cass is like, that's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
It's only if you have this knife. And he pulls out his knife. It's just like, all right, dick measuring contest aside.
Imagine my absolute favourite meme. It's like, what have you got there? It's like a child running, like, a knife, and Mum's like, no! It's my favourite. I love it so much. We do it all the time. I just like put a knife on the drawer. It's like, what you got there? And I'm like, a knife.
Cass says, maybe you're not working for heaven, but there's something you're not telling me. And she pauses for dramatic effect and says, Sam Winchester has to die. Which I was like, we've heard that line before. I'm pretty sure it was like, Sam Winchester must die.
Yeah, right. Because we were trying to remember what movie it was from, and don't think we ever got there. And I still don't know.
Think so either. I think it was like Tucker must die or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. John Tucker must die. That's a thing. Sure. So was Anna planning to just like try and kill them there and then? Because why would she think that would go okay? She knows them, and they know the angel. She knows they know the angel banishing thing, and have access to angel blades, presumably.
So my guess is that Dean trusts her at this point, so they probably weren't suspecting of her to like pull out a knife.
Every time he says, "You're like a knife." Sorry. And like Cass is saying, like, well, they must have let you out. I mean, do you think they let her out, or did she escape? Because I guess there are some factions of heaven that do want Sam dead, just so they can like insta win the apocalypse. But there must be some parts of heaven that want the big fight to go down, or is that just Michael who wants that to happen?
No, I think it is, because if you think of Zachariah,
Yeah, that's true.
so he wants the fight to go down. I think there's more angels that do than don't. But at the same time, I think they also just want to win.
Yeah, so there must be like there's factions within factions. There must be like a faction on pro-apocalypse that wants Sam to die. Yeah. Poor Cass is the only anti-apocalypse angel out there. That's why he's having such a hard time. Well, we don't know that, but he's the only like one willing to help the Winchesters at this point.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess technically she's anti-apocalypse too.
It's true.
But she just doesn't care about Sam.
I mean, no, that's so harsh. I do love Sam. Yeah, I mean, presumably actually there probably are other like anti-apocalypse angels, but they can't help the Winchesters because Cass hid them from everybody. He's keeping them to himself at this point. Yeah.
He's the only one with the phone that they can call.
Who are you going to call? Castiel?
Yeah, right.
All right, so yeah, Anna's explaining in the warehouse.
He's Lucifer's vessel.
He's not the only one.
What, that guy Nick? He's burning away as we speak.
Said Sam is the only vessel that matters. And you know what that means? If Lucifer can't take Sam, his whole plan's short circuits. No fight with Michael, no Croatoan virus. I'd forgotten about the Croatoan virus, I'll be real with you.
Yeah, I know. It's just... I feel like this is the last time they kind of ever mention it in relation to the apocalypse.
Yeah, like you feel like a bigger deal would be made out of it, considering the episode, the end, and all of that. There should have been some allusion to it starting to happen or something. Like they could have come across some croats. So, you know, Cass does make the point that like even if he kills Sam, like Lucifer's going to bring back to life, and her plan is to scatter his cells across the universe so they'll never find all of him.
Who needs that gallbladder? Just leave it.
Exactly.
Leave it out. It'll be fine. The appendix, Yeah, just don't worry about that.
It's fine. Like the question is like, how much of Sam would Lucifer need to inhabit? Like just the legs?
Is it worm regeneration? So when you cut a worm, not all worms, but some, you cut them in half, you end up with 2.
Yeah.
So with all the cells scattered across the universe, does Lucifer just need 1, and then he can make a whole Sam? So you could potentially have billions of Sams all over the universe.
He's comparing Sam to a tapeworm. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. This seems like a flawed plan. I don't know how it would work. And surely, I don't know, eventually enough time would pass that Lucifer would find them all. But then, I guess...
Does he have the time, though?
Does he care enough? I don't know. Maybe halfway through, he'd be like, do you know what? This isn't worth it anymore. Cass does pause, though, and he's thinking, I'm sure that look is, hey, that could actually work. I feel like he's thinking about it, because he pauses and then says, no, we'll find another way. He's like, this could work.
I'm not going to obliterate Sam.
No. Anyway.
How's the cult working out? Or the search for God? Is anything working?
And, Cass is like, well, no, but Sam's my friend. Oh, I need a friend. Anna says, you've changed. And Cass says, maybe too late, but I have. Which is true. Since they last saw each other, he is a very different angel. And he does say, we've been through a lot together, but if you come near Sam, I'll kill you. And then she disappears. So we cut to... I love this. This is the best scene in this episode. Mm-hmm. There's 2 young people in a car. They're smoking and making out, I think. And on their car, they have it's a black car, and it has a gold phoenix on it, on the hood, right? Mm-hmm. So the wings are out, and then Anna appears back down on the hood, so the wings are splayed out from her.
It is very cool.
She should have died like this. This sounds awful, but to imprint her wings on those wings would have looked cool.
That's true, but she does end up burning from the inside out, so the phoenix is kind of a little bit of a giveaway.
Hey, I didn't even pick up on that. That's true, actually. Yeah, you're right.
I know it's usually rebirth, but reborn from the fires, but she got killed by fire.
Yeah, no, that works. I like that. I never really picked up on that before. And I guess it is also foreshadowing that she's going to die, because that's how angels die, right? Mm-hmm. She looks like she could be dead when she lands on the hood, but then she sort of coughs up some blood and is fine. The people in the car try to check on her, but she just wanders off. We see, as she does, there's a poster for Grease, which came out in 1978. So, yeah, Anna's gone back in time. Mm-hmm. Back in the present day, in a motel, Cass is explaining basically what's happened to Sam and Dean. Anna wanting to kill Sam. Dean says that she's gone all Glenn Close. I saw a really good... I'm on Reddit a lot. I saw a Reddit post the other day, which I thought was actually quite a good point, talking about people watching Supernatural now. Do any of the younger people watching Supernatural understand any of the references that Dean makes?
Probably not.
I mean, I struggled with Glenn Close. I had to think, yeah. But,
yeah. I don't know. Because the references that he's making are usually from the 90s and 80s.
Yeah.
So we're talking potentially 40 years ago. Unless they're huge, obvious references. I don't think everybody's going to... I mean, I know I don't get all of them.
No, I don't. There must be some that are some 20-year-old now is what? So It's like half a century ago, man. Like, I'm not expected to remember this. But I feel like also like watching it now, if you didn't get the references, you have a more like it's like almost like a truer experience because you get a better understanding of where Cass is coming from.
Yeah.
Right? Because he immediately goes like, who's Glenn Close? And like Dean just like doesn't explain it. He just says, oh, a psycho bitch who likes to boil rabbits. Like that doesn't answer the question, Dean.
It just sounds absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Poor Cass. It must be like speaking another language.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam does ask, he says, so if you killed me, would it actually like stop Satan? And they all kind of like look at each other and, you know, they're all thinking like, yeah, it would. And, you know, Sam's like, come on, Cass, what do you think? And he says, no, she's Glenn Close. Love that.
I don't get it. We're looking for the chick that wants to gank Sam. Why poke the bear?
And Cass is like, well, she's going to keep trying, so we need to kill her first. He's done some kind of incantation in a bowl, and it goes poof, like it does in Supernatural. And he's found Anna, and there's that whole that like, where is she? It's like, not where, when. And she's in 1978. And they're like, oh, it sounds like I wasn't even born yet. And it's like, oh, yeah, of course, she's going after your parents. She's going to, again... I feel like we've already had all the Back to the Future references in the other episodes. They don't make any here. Oh, no, they do. They do. Make one. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
So, basically, Cass says that, you know, Anna can't get to them because of Cass, so she's going to go after their parents instead, which, fine. Cass is going to struggle to take them because he's kind of disconnected from heaven now.
So what, you're like a DeLorean without enough plutonium?
I don't understand that reference.
Yeah. He's saying that it will weaken him. And he doesn't really explain what that means.
He just takes a 5-day nap.
Right, yeah. Cass is falling, right? Like, he's losing his grace. I think if he kept going, do you think he would die or become human?
I think Supernatural as it is right now, he would have died.
Yes. Great.
Supernatural as it became, he would have become human.
Yeah, makes sense. So, you know, Dean's like, you know, please take us because they're our mum and dad. If we can save them, and not just from Anna, if we can set things right, we have to try. Like, he wants another go at what happened before because he did try and warn Mary last time. So he's like, didn't stick that time. Let's try again.
Yeah, like it was a vague warning last time as well. It's just like in 1983, don't go into a bedroom. She's like, what?
Oh yeah, I'll mark that on my calendar. Like, what? Yeah.
I'm going to remember that in 10 years. No.
I mean, to be fair, if someone did walk up to me and was like, you're going to die on this specific date, I'd be like, oh, maybe I should write that down. You know?
Especially since you're a hunter and like another hunter has told you this.
Yeah, like if for nothing else, you'd be like, they were wrong. You know? So they all pack up their stuff. They have some like holy oil and some angel killing blades. And Sam is looking a bit apprehensive as Cass goes to whammy him. And Dean just says to him, like, bend your knees. Which is quite good because normally when they do appear, it's almost like Star Trek style. They kind of like jump into the... Yeah. So I quite like that.
Yeah. So we're now in 1978 and Cass dropped him off in the middle of the street, probably because he got tired and just like dropped him.
I think so, yeah.
And Sam and Dean have to like get out of the road and get shouted out and stuff like that.
Did we make it? Unless they're bringing Pintos back into production, I'd say yes.
They start looking around for Cass and they find him and he's like slumped up against a parked car and his nose is like bleeding. The way that like Sam goes to grab him, he like basically he puts his hand near his nose and mouth to feel if he's breathing. But do angels actually breathe?
Apparently, sort of.
Cass wakes up a little bit and he says, I'm fine. I'm better than I expected. But then he slumps again. And like more blood comes out of his nose and mouth. It sort of cuts and Sam's ripping out a page of the phone book, which is rude. Like, you don't... Anyway, don't do that. I mean, not that there's any phone books around anymore, but like, don't do that.
Yeah, well, someone else needs that page.
Exactly. You have to go to a different phone booth.
Yeah.
And as Dean comes out of the motel, two people pass and one has like a mustache. And Sam says, the mustache is alone. Like he's completely bewildered by everything. And Dean's like, I paid for Cass for 5 nights in the honeymoon suite.
I told the manager, do not disturb no matter what. You know what he said to me? Yeah, don't sweat it. Want to buy some dope? Dope.
So we've gone back to like HBO version of Dean. Do you think HBO version of Dean would do like drugs?
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. I do. I feel like it would be almost like, like The Witcher, like the potions that they use. I feel like, this sounds so bad, almost like a hunting kind of
hunting like high.
Yeah, like, let's smoke some things and, it'll help us with this spell. Or like, I'll just take some, just snort some cocaine to help me like fight these vampires.
Because like he's so shocked by this, and he's like, we got to stick around here and buy some stock in Microsoft. Yeah, like that first half of that sentence, it was just like, you want to stick around here because you get dope so easily? No, I don't think so. Right? And Sam says, well, we might have to if Cass doesn't like recover.
What I look like, Dr. Angel Medicine Woman? He'll wake up. He's, tough for a little nerdy dude with wings.
Cass is not that short. He's just shorter compared to you two.
Yeah, but as we have established long ago, Dean loves a nerdy little dude. Like, I think it helps him equate just how unbadass Cass is to just refer to him as like a little dude. I don't know. There's something there. It's funny because now Misha's in like Gotham Knights and he's like clearly been working out. Like, he looks so different to Cass now. It's weird.
I can't remember. I guess it was from a convention, and there's a picture of Jared, Jensen, and Misha, and Misha's like handing something to somebody. His forearms are massive. I'm like, what have you been doing, sir?
It's because of these lines, right? For years, he was the nerdy little dude. This is his revenge.
I'm now the buff, nerdy little dude. So they kind of guess that Anna's probably in the same condition. So they have a bit of time before they need to worry about their parents. And Sam has found them in the phone book. And Dean says, let's pop in on the folks. So it's nighttime and they arrive at the address, and Sam's like ready to go, and Dean's like, wait. Sam's like, Anna could be here any second. And they're basically trying to do a plan. Sam's doing his usual, like, we just got to tell them the truth. Always with the truth. Does that ever work? Not really. And basically they're gonna use the fact that Dean has met her before and knows that he's a hunter to try and basically get in the door. We're then inside the house, and they're just having a very normal beginning of the night conversation when, someone gets home from work. As they're talking, the doorbell rings and they open the door, and Sam is completely enamored.
Yeah. Sam in this episode is interesting. And actually, I think this is a good one, because I feel like this does continue all the way through to the name of the episode that I can't remember, where John comes back, Wishing Pearl. I feel like his feelings towards John do continue all the way through to that episode. Whereas I feel like Dean at this point is already so done with John that he almost doesn't equate this guy to his dad. There is a moment later on, but there's not the same feeling between them as there is between Sam here and John. Yeah, because Jared's face, like his acting in this is really good. He's looking at him like, I can't do it. I'm doing this. I'm trying to do the face. It's a podcast. He's looking at him like he can't believe that he's standing in front of him. And then when he does eventually see Mary, woo, painful. That hurt my heart. Because although, you know, Dean was a child when she died, so he doesn't really have many clear memories of her, Sam has no memories of her at all. Like zero.
None. Yeah.
So,
like, he has only met her one time and she was a ghost.
That's so true. Yeah.
And all she said was that I'm sorry. And that was pretty much it.
So he has no idea of like what she's like to actually see her in the flesh. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
No. They're all about the same age, actually.
Yeah.
Which is really wild to think about. Because like in 1973, they're about 18, 19, I think we established.
Yeah.
And so it's now 5 years later.
So is Dean the oldest person in this little troupe? Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like terminally big brothered. Like.
So they explain that they're cousins, and John sort of recognizes Dean for a moment. They make a lot of like, oh, you know, you look a spitting image of my mother, or you look like my father, like just sort of skating past it. You know, the namesakes and stuff. Like Sam, Mary's father was a Sam. Well, he's Samuel. Like he was never Sam.
Yeah,
he was too formal for that. And Sam's just like shook John's hand, but it's not letting go throughout this little conversation.
Yeah,
and he's like, "You okay, pal? You know, you look a little spooked." Sam sort of plays it off, says, "Yeah, it's just a long trip." Mary tries to dismiss them, but John's like, "No, look, you know, I've never met people from your side of the family, so come on in for a beer." And Dean's like, "Twist my arm." What would have been really fun is if I know in terms of supernatural continuity, it probably never would have happened, but like if Mary had done some sort, like she glares at him, but if she'd done some sort of movement to indicate that she was annoyed, and then when Mary comes back in like season 10 or whatever it is, she did the same movement. Yeah,
I know what you mean. There's some kind of continuity between the young Mary and old. Yeah, I would like to have seen that.
Yeah, so like she is unconsciously treating Dean like a son in this.
Oh, yes.
And then treats him like, because that's what she would do to her child, basically.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know what that would be.
No, I can't think it. Like, I don't know. Maybe some kind of like arm, like crossing arm, like, kind of thing. I don't know.
Or like knocking his feet off of something.
Yes.
Like, because he likes to put his feet up on. I know he wouldn't do that at their house because obviously it's respect, like, you know, sign of disrespect. Or like maybe it's the way that they open their beers, very similar. I don't know.
Or like putting a coaster down. That's quite, you know. Yeah, I know what you mean. Something like that. Yeah, that would be good. Something
small. But that, I mean, that would never have translated all the way to much later season. I mean, maybe if Samantha Smith wanted to.
Yeah, I'm sure she would have. If there'd been anything like that. Yeah, definitely.
Sam is, like I said, enamored and just like staring at Mary to the point where it's just beyond uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And John's like, "Are you okay there?" And he's,
"You are so beautiful." He means that in a non-weird, wholesome family kind of a way.
And Tom's like, oh yeah, right. I'm it's not my mother I'm supposed to be looking at, it's my cousin, so yeah. So again, they make another sort of family joke. John asks, if they knew Mary's parents, and Dean's like, yeah, he was like a grandfather to it or grandpa to us. So Mary has lied to John to say that like Samuel had a heart attack.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, obviously, as we know. So John's sort of asking them everyday questions because obviously he doesn't know who they are. So he's asking them what line of work they're in because he asks what they're doing in town. They both answer. What Sam says plumbing, Dean says scrap metal. It's funny that he says plumbing because instantly I'm like, oh, Mario.
Yeah, that's quite funny. Yeah, that is quite funny.
So I think that's probably what, like...
The agreement definitely there is that Dean's Mario and Sam's Luigi, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
100.
Mario's the older brother, so... And also he's the short one. Mary's like, okay, well, good night.
Leave.
And the phone rings. So they have an interruption with the phone ringing, but instead of being a cell phone, it's the house phone.
Yeah.
And it's John's, like, boss.
Times ain't exactly rosy.
Oh, even just part-time, I really need this job.
All right, look, come on in right now. Let's talk.
But the person on the other end of the phone is actually Anna, and she's just used the boss's voice. It then cuts back to the living room, and Mary's like, you have to leave now. Because, the last time that she saw him, a demon killed her parents, and now, like, you're waltzing in here as if you're family. And Sam says, no, you and John are in danger. And she kind of guesses, like, is it a demon, a monster? And like, no, it's an angel. And she's like, yeah, no, seriously. Like, no, seriously, it's an angel.
But they're twice as strong as demons and bigger dicks.
She wants to know why an angel would want to kill them. And Dean sort of brushes it off. It's a long story, but you got to trust me. Look at my face. Tell me if I'm lying to you. And the plan is just to get out of Dodge. They go to look for John, and they see that next to the phone, he's written back in 15 minutes. We then cut to the garage where he works. He walks in, and he sees his boss on the ground, and his eyes have been burned out, as if he looked upon an angel or has been smited by an angel.
Yeah.
Anna comes over and, like, tosses him aside, basically. She is injured at this point. Like, she's not full powered. Like, her vision kind of goes blurry, which gives John enough time to attack her. And she, like, flies back as well. Oh, not flies back, but, like, falls back. And then Dean comes in with an angel blade and tries to attack her and all this stuff.
I wish I could say it's good to see you, Anna.
You too, Dean.
They continue to fight, and Dean goes flying out of a window.
It's quite good, that.
Yeah. Mary picks up the blade and is, like, fighting with her. She does an amazing, like, crotch kick. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, it was really good, yeah.
And shows off her fighting skills against Anna, and, like, but then gets tossed over a car, and Anna then apologizes to Mary. Mary kind of gets the advantage on her a little bit, gets a crowbar as well, and, like, stabs her with it. But Anna casually just pulls it out of her chest.
Yeah.
Says, sorry, it's not that easy to kill an angel. And sounds like, no, but you can distract them. And he's drawn a sigil and, like, banishes Anna.
Yeah. No, I like this. I like that they show how badass Mary is, because I don't feel like she got much of a chance the last time we saw her.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of her fighting.
I think the impressive part was getting the drop on Dean.
Yes, that's true, yeah.
So
yeah.
And then when Anna vanishes, you see John staring at her like she's absolutely crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I will say the characters... I'll give this to the Winchesters. Of what I've seen, John is more... is not intimidated by her fighting, whereas in this... I feel like his manhood got hurt a little bit, that she's a better fighter than he is.
There's something about this that I think was like Jackal's thinking about the Winchesters from this season. You know, I don't know. Like, how long has that idea been percolating?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, just wonder.
I mean, I understand the hurt as well, because it's been 5 years.
Yeah, that's true.
That they've presumably been together, and like she's never... I mean, I understand you don't need to tell it. Well, it's kind of a big secret.
Yeah, I'm actually Buffy. Oh, I know that's no frame of reference because like they're from the 70s, but you know, like I don't know. Would you? Because like this is my problem with this. I wonder how much, because John's already been to war by this point, right?
Yep.
So I wonder how much of that he would actually talk about with Mary, you know?
True. Mm-hmm.
And really, how is Mary's experience different? You know, it's a traumatic bit of her life that she wants to leave behind. So why should she be expected to talk about it?
I guess the other part of this is, if you think in terms of context of that time in the 1970s, the like women's movement has started, but like, you know, it's not that far from the perfect housewife kind of lifestyle, and like the man provides and this, that, and the other. So, you know, the patriarchy is in full force still, which is where the characterization of John in the Winchesters is very much a 2020 perspective look back at that time, because I don't think he would be as accepting as like... I'm just thinking about like women in the military in the 70s.
Yeah, you're right. Like there is that. I don't know. I'll give. I feel like I can give pre-Mary dying John like all the benefit of the doubt. Like I feel like it seems alright. It seems like an alright guy. So I don't think it's that. I don't think at all that it's that she can fight and stuff like that. I feel like he kind of knows Mary's a bit badass. I feel there must be that kind of knowledge that she's a bit badass.
Yeah.
So I think it's more the like monsters. Like what? The what? You just like banished an angel. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Let's give nice. I refer to him as nice John.
I will never. I will never. I'm just kidding.
We are in the Impala. John is driving, and I got really confused for a second, and I was like, why is the Impala in 1978? And I was like, of course it is. It's John's car. So John's driving. Mary's like sitting beside him, and then Sam and Dean are in the back, just like they would have driven if they were like a little family, like children. Oh, it's horrible. And it's quite funny. And John's having a bit of a freak out. He's like, monsters! And Mary's like, yeah. And, you know, he's having the whole like, what's the real one? And you fight them. And he asks Mary how long, and she says, all my life. Like, try to understand. And Dean's like trying to sort of chime in for her and says like, look, she didn't have a choice.
Look, not another word, or so help me, I will turn this car around.
Wow. Awkward family road trip.
But they like kind of seem like secretly happy about it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's quite cute. I guess it must have been that because they haven't been driven in the Impala for a really long time.
And I was gonna say, I don't think John had much in terms of like actual conversations with them in the car. I'd imagine most of the time it was like this is like, okay, boys, this is where we're going. Remember what the deal is. Or as Dean got older, it's like, this is what we're going to be fighting. Like, this is the plan. Like, it was never just like conversation.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it would be only like instructional kind of thing. Or like drilling them on like, how do you kill a vampire? How do you kill a werewolf? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So they pull up to the Campbell's house, which is obviously kind of abandoned because Mary's parents are both dead for a while now. And, you know, Mary says, like, oh, this place has been in the family for years. And she shows that there's devil's traps, there's iron fixtures. She said there's, like, salt and holy water somewhere. You know, it's a hunter's place.
I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to.
Oh, yeah.
There shouldn't be a devil's trap in this yet.
I know! It annoys me so much. They just sort of, like, retconned that they didn't know about it. Or they used that scorpion one for ages. That Bobby devised. Like,
yeah. I was like, I said to myself, I need to let it go, but like, no.
I refuse. It'd be interesting to know, once I've also finished watching the Winchesters, if they use devil traps in the Winchesters too. I bet they do. It's too iconic, like, a supernatural thing now to, like, leave it out. And people do forget that, like, they didn't exist. They didn't exist!
For, like, the first 2 seasons.
Yeah. They had those, like, Lucky Charms. You know, before they had the tattoos. So, you know, Sam says, like, oh, that's... Now, this is the line I thought was interesting, because Mary's saying there's knives, guns, etc. And Sam says, all that stuff will do is piss it off. And I'm like, that's Anna.
Yeah, but she is trying to kill him, so...
I know. It reminded me of another scene, and I can't remember what series it's from, where Sam does this to Cass. And Dean actually calls him out and is like, it's Cass. You know? Just interesting that Sam can seem to like separate, because he's normally so like, monsters are people, you know, we have to help them. That he does it a couple of times with angels where he's like, no, you know, we have to kill them despite knowing them or being their friend. But maybe that's because of his whole shtick with Lucifer. Might skew your view on angels a little bit.
And also, you got to remember the time that Anna revealed herself, he was I was going to say knee deep in Ruby. That comes out so wrong. But he was, you know, being manipulated by Ruby at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
Quite heavily. So he probably didn't even really like her.
Yeah.
To begin with.
Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah. The thing is, like, Sam was so excited to meet angels at one point, and then the actual realization that they were just dicks has settled in now, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, Mary asks, you know, what will kill it or slow it down? And Sam says not much. But Dean's like, don't worry, it's not nothing, like we packed. And he brings his bag out on the table and he shows her this angel banishing sigil. It says, we beam her right off the starship. I kind of like that. They've got holy oil, like a devil's trap for angels. And Sam leads with her to show her how it works, which I don't feel like that needs an explanation other than, like, just draw a circle and lie on fire. Like, why?
Yeah, I know.
It's like, first you take the stopper off. Oh, you know.
I think it was more like, let's give John and Dean a moment.
Oh, yeah, they got some stuff to work out, you know.
Yeah.
Also, like, Sam gets a little bit of time with his mum then, and it's nice. So John comes over and is kind of acting like the John we all know and love / hate.
Yeah, he's not pleased. Like, he's so angry.
He's so
But,
angry.
like, sure. Yeah.
And you can see, I like it actually. I think they did a really good job here of like, you can see where future John gets it from. Makes sense. How he turned into that angry person. Because he's just like, what's this sigil? Like, what does it do? Just tell me, like, how big shall I make it? And Dean doesn't want him involved.
Y'all might have treated me like a fool, but I am not useless. I can draw a damn whatever it is, a sigil.
And Dean's trying to sort of say, like, look, this one has to be done in human blood. And John just picks the knife and, like, slices his palm open. So I guess stupid is, you know. Again, why? You hurt your hand, man. And then we don't see it bandaged up or anything. No, not going there. We've talked about this. So that impresses Dean. And he laughs at him. He's like, okay, fine, I'll show you. And then, you know, as he laughs, John's like, well, what are you laughing at? And he's like,
All of a sudden, you really remind me of my dad.
it's nice for Dean to have this moment with his dad. I'll give him that. But it doesn't count because he doesn't know who he is and it doesn't have the history.
Yeah, and like Dean doesn't even attempt to make nice either. He's also very dismissive of John. Like you were saying, like he's sort of, he recognizes his dad in John at this moment, so he's just like, I don't really want anything to do with you right now.
Do you think there's a little bit of Dean as well that's almost like relishing knowing more than John, like being in the position of power for a change?
Yep, absolutely.
I think so too. Yeah, definitely. And he's also, like I said, older here as well. Mm-hmm. So he is literally having to like mentor him, and I think Dean's getting like a little kick out of that.
Yeah.
So some time passes. We see John's like working on the sigil, and Sam comes up and they have a little conversation. You know, Sam's like, "That's really good." Okay, you didn't need an in
It's
there,
like,
Sam.
this is how I want you to parent me in the years to come.
Yeah, projecting good parenting, please, John. He's come to commiserate anyway, Sam, you know, like saying, I know this is a lot, all these monsters and things. And John says, well, how long have you known about this hunting stuff? Oh, this conversation is so painful. Mm-hmm. Sam's like, well, pretty much forever. My dad raised me in it. And then John like freaks out and he's like,
But who the hell does that to a kid?
you're like, yeah, you do that.
Yep.
You know, Sam says, well, you know, Mary's parents did. And just, I don't care, you know, what kind of irresponsible bastard lets a child anywhere near? It's like, you could have been killed. And Sam's like, well, yeah. Kind of did, almost.
Do you know what's even worse about that?
Yeah.
John eventually tells Dean to kill Sam.
Oh, you're right. That makes it way worse.
It does.
I was just thinking about something wicked. I wasn't thinking about that.
And like another thing that's completely different is that the Campbells had a home.
Yeah, that's true.
They had a place where she grew up in this town and stayed in this, like she would only go off occasionally. Yeah. John didn't even have that. It was literally they were on the road their entire lives.
Yeah. Exactly. There's no stability. At least, like they had a safe place, right? Because they're showing that this house had devil's traps, and you know their house was safe from demons, whereas like the motel rooms and stuff showed they weren't safe. I mean, well, he uses children as bait, so you know, he doesn't know winning any like Dad of the Year awards.
Absolutely not.
You know, John says, like, the number it must have done on your head, your father was supposed to protect you. And Sam's like, oh, he was trying, he died trying, like, believe me.
He didn't know.
No, he didn't though.
John's entire story arc is revenge at the cost of his family.
Yeah.
And then he turns that around on Dean, saying family is more important than anything. It's just like, what are you talking about?
It's like, it messes with Dean's head so much because you're right. It's like revenge and then family first, but you also have to kill your brother to get revenge. It's like, it's so messed up. It's yeah. Sam says, like, well, you know, I used to be mad at him. I used to hate the guy, but now I get it. He was just doing the best he could. He was just trying to keep it together in an impossible situation. My mum, like, she got killed, and I think he would have gone crazy if he didn't do something. The truth is, my dad died before I got to tell him that I understand why he did what he did.
And I forgive him for what it did to us. I do. And I love him.
Which is nice for Sam that he's reconciled that in his head. But do you think that's because he's so like John that he has to forgive him? Because otherwise he couldn't deal with the things that he's done or is thinking of doing?
Yes. Yep. I think he's been faced with it so many times of how similar he actually is that he's looking for understanding.
Yeah.
Because he did have a chance to say that he understands why he did what he did, because John was still around when Jessica died.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess he didn't have that. He hadn't forgiven him by that point.
No.
So it's a tough one. I think it took Mystery Spot for him to forgive John. Yeah.
Yep. I agree. Mystery Spot and Dean going to hell.
Yeah. Dean going to hell, ultimately. Like, he realised that the lengths he would go to save his family, or like take revenge at least. You know, because he'd kind of given up on getting Dean back from hell. Well, he had given up, but he was looking for like ways to kill demons, right? To basically avenge his brother, and he came back. So he had almost like fully gone down that vengeance path. So yeah, I guess going to that dark place. See, I don't actually think this is, and I think this is Sam's arc as well. And I think this comes around when he does see John in Lebanon. I remember the name of the episode. I don't think this is Sam forgiving John. I do think this is Sam forgiving himself. And I think it's that John's just a proxy. And if he does anything good, it's that. Because Sam does need to forgive himself.
Yeah, he definitely does. Yeah.
So, yeah. But I like this. And I do appreciate that they continue this on when we do see John again. So, outside of the barn, we see Anna, and we hear another angel arrive, and it's a younger Uriel. Do you think this is supposed to be the same vessel, like in 1978? I guess the time difference kind of would work out.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but that makes sense. That's his vessel, and it makes sense.
Uriel's not happy because he's like, we're under strict orders not to come down here, much less take a vessel. In 1978, and then he recognizes Anna that she's not of this time. And Anna's like, no, but 30 years from now I'm still your superior, I need you to kill some humans. And Uriel's like, all right.
Where are they?
Exactly. And she says, like, you know, these people are going to kill you in the future, like, go ahead.
You have my blessing.
I do love that they brought Uriel back, actually, because he's just like, you don't even need to give me an excuse. Like, she didn't even need to tell him that they were going to kill him in the future. She's like, humans need to die? Okay. Yeah. Smitey, smite.
Can I take out a whole town, or is it just these people?
Exactly. He's, yeah, I like Uriel. He's good. So, back at the Campbell house, they're all preparing. Mary eventually says, like, look, he said you'd explain everything to Dean. He's like, why does an angel want me dead? And he just says, because they're dicks. It's like, no, not good enough. Like, why am I a target? And they go back and forth, and Dean's like, no, look, you're just going to have to trust me. And she's like, no, I have been trusting you. And then she's like, fine, I'm leaving. And Dean says, okay, I'm your son. Like, Dean, why now? So he tells her the truth. He says, you know, I'm your son, like, we're from 2010. An angel zapped us back here, not the one that attacked you, friendlier. And he says, you know, our names are Dean and Sam Winchester. We're named after your parents. And then he tells this little anecdote, which is really sweet, like,
When I would get sick, you would make me tomato rice soup. Because that's what your mom made you.
and instead of a lullaby, you would sing Hey Jude, because that's your favourite Beatles song. And like Mary recognises that as the truth. But she's like, I don't believe it. No, couldn't be. She seems to accept quite quickly that he's her son. The thing that she's upset about is, and she says it next, is like, and I raised my kids to be hunters. Because she's Mary's very quick. She's like automatically put all of it together in her head and gone, oh no, they're hunters. And she's really upset about this. She's like, you know, how could I do that to you? And then Dean's like, no, you didn't do it because you're dead. And he explains about the yellow-eyed demon, because of course she remembers that John became a hunter to get revenge. He raised them. And then he says, like, you know, don't go into the nursery 6 months after Sam's born. Remember 1983, like, you wake up that morning, you take Sam and you run. And then Sam walks in and says, no, that's not good enough. Like, you need to leave John and just like never have us. So they're never born. And Mary doesn't want to do that, you know, because now she's met them. But Dean said, and it's really weird how suddenly like both Sam and Dean get fully on board with this plan of like, let's just never be born. Because Dean said, go on.
Well, he does say that, you know, there is a difference between dying and never being born. Like, you don't get the pain of dying, because like, they've both died, so they know what it's like.
Yeah.
So if they've never been born, then they won't ever know what it feels like to die.
Right. I think they go into the whole like Buddhist like life is suffering thing. So like, it's fine. Like, just don't have us. He says, you think you can have a normal life, but you can't.
It's all gonna go rotten. You are gonna die. And your children will be cursed.
Because the thing is, even if she does run off and not have kids with John, she promised the baby to Azazel. So either way, he's like going to come collect, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he will, but nothing might happen.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah, because they found out that it was only the people who had discovered him like dropping demon blood into babies that ended up like dying. So she could be fine. You're right. And, you know, Mary is like, well, you know, there has to be a way. And Sam's like, no, leave John. Like, leave him, girl.
Yeah.
You would think. See, I'm really upset that they have like a mind wipe at the end of this episode, because I think knowing John raised her children to be hunters without her there would be enough for Mary to leave him, if that makes sense. Like, knowing that he could be that person would be enough for Mary to leave him. I mean, she's like, she reveals that she's pregnant already, you know, because like they're trying to convince her, but she's already pregnant with Dean. I mean, she can't, I guess, like, in the 70s, she probably can't really leave either, because, again, like, it's not the done thing.
Yeah, I was thinking this too, and obviously it wouldn't have been so bad if, like, she had other family around, but it sounds like there's really nobody else to, like, help her.
Exactly, like her, yeah. So it's a tough situation for Mary. I do kind of, again, I know that it would change the whole timeline, but I do wish, like, she did remember this, because I feel like she probably still has Sam, so they'd still exist, but I guess they wouldn't be hunters. I know this is the problem, it would change the timeline. Stupid time travel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, she reveals that she's pregnant. John doesn't hear this, but comes in after, and he's like, all the sigils and stuff have, like, gone. I didn't really understand like how they could just be gone. Like, I don't know. I
didn't get it either. Like, what happened?
Yeah, like, It didn't explain it either. Like, is Uriel magic? Like, could he just like suck up holy oil like in a big straw and undo angel? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe because it's like they were halfway done. Like, I guess angels can be invisible. So maybe it's just like la la la, just wipe it away, wipe it away. I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know either. It's just weird. Makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense, but. There's a big high-pitched noise and like angels appearing and Sam draws the angel blade, everyone covers their ears and everything smashes. So that's the big conversation in this episode, that they reveal that they're Sam and Dean, that John's a bastard, and Mary reveals that she's already pregnant, which she's being a fighting badass, and that's true.
Yeah. We come back and Uriel's there and he introduces himself and he's like, oh, come on. Like, we've already defeated you once.
Yeah.
So they all start to get into a fight. It's not really going their way. John gets knocked into the backyard. And Sam gets stabbed by Anna with a fixture from the wall. Well, I hate that. Fixtures taking out the Winchesters.
I know, right? He does actually get like almost impaled on some like rebar, but he stabbed with it instead. I didn't think this when it happened to him. I was like, no, they can't do this, right? No, but they did.
Yeah,
That's
they
how
did.
Sam should have died, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Outside we see a light in front of John and John looks up and then back into the house and it appears that Sam's dead. Anna again apologizes to Mary and then we hear John saying Anna and she turns around and she responds with Michael. So Michael has entered the room. Uriel says, Michael, I didn't know. And he says, goodbye, Uriel. He disappears. Well, he snaps his fingers and Uriel disappears. Mary's asking what happened to John. And Michael's like, John is fine. And he tells her to shush and she collapses on the ground because she's been knocked unconscious.
Well, I'd say this conversation is long overdue, wouldn't you?
It's like, yeah, you're not. So, okay. Is this 2010 Michael or 1978 Michael?
Oh, man.
I think it's 1978.
Yes, I agree with you. Because I think he sensed his vessel was in danger. You're in danger. And like went down to see what was up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
And because otherwise, I think, I don't know, because I was like, it wouldn't have pushed Dean to. Right. Okay. No, I just need to address this. Do you know what's stupid? Michael's in his vessel, one of his preferred vessels. Like he could very well inhabit John. Why can't he just time travel to the future and fight Lucifer as John?
I think you said this at the end of last week's episode.
Anytime. I mean, I guess it has to be Dean. I think that's what they're trying to say in this conversation is it has to be Dean. Like John would kind of like do, like kind of Nick would do, but maybe slightly better. But he wants the D.
Yeah. See, I wonder how much of these conversations led to Chuck being obsessed with, like the character of Chuck being obsessed with brothers fighting.
Yeah.
To then justify why it always had to be those two. And like, it didn't actually have to be that way, but the way they've just written it here. And then, I know that I didn't really explain that very well, but yeah.
It's almost like circular logic, right? It had to be those two because Chuck wanted it to be those two and Chuck wanted it to be them because it is them, if that makes sense. Like it's which chicken egg situation, which came first?
Basically, yeah. So Dean points to Sam and tells him to fix it, and Michael says, we'll talk first, then I'll fix your darling little Sammy. Dean asks, how did he possess John? He says, I told him I could save his wife, and he said yes, which is very much in line with John.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. John would have let the apocalypse happen if he could have Mary back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dean says, I guess they oversold me being your one and only vessel. And Michael responds, like, you're my true vessel, but not my only one. So, I mean, we've alluded to this conversation for the longest time.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
And I forgot it was in this episode.
Me too.
It's a bloodline.
A bloodline?
Stretching back to Cain and Abel. It's in your blood, your father's blood, your family's blood.
Isn't it also, it had to be Mary and John? It couldn't just be John and woman X.
Yes. And I can't remember why.
Was it because it was a man of letters and it was a hunter and they were supposed to be like the perfect...
Yeah.
Or something like that?
This is like, yeah, it was something like that. And I think it was to do with, I think because of all the how this has played out, and they kind of allude to this as well, that like everything's been written, so it's going to happen this way. And I think it was that they needed Sam to go down the demon blood, like dark path. So it would make sense if Mary was a hunter for that to happen. And then John has the, I guess, Cain and Abel bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
So they needed him. I mean, it's been talked about better than probably we'll talk about it here, but I don't think they ever mentioned this to Mary when she comes back later on. And I'm kind of glad they didn't, because you would really question whether or not they were actually like in love, or whether it was just Chuck writing them that way.
Yeah. So the way that I'm comparing it now is, have you seen the end of season 5 of Rick and Morty?
Yes, I have, yeah.
So that same kind of like the infinite timeline of where Sanchez is like, well, Rick has been basically pairing up Beth and...
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. That's a good. That's a really good comparison. Yeah. If you want to understand Chuck, go watch Rick and Morty. No, you're right. Yeah. But that's it. Like, so how real is their love, and how, I guess, how consensual is it too? Do you know what I mean? Like, because we talk about consent in Supernatural a lot. Okay, I'm gonna get real deep here for a second.
Sure.
I guess say real deep, it's not that deep. I wonder if that's why Sam doesn't end up with Eileen at the end of Supernatural, because we just see blurry wife. Because, and the reason that I guess Dean never confesses his feelings to Cass, though I feel like that's a slightly different situation because free will, Cass definitely has it. Is that any relationship they had up to Chuck being defeated, like how real is it? Because they know that Mary and John were like put together. So how did they know that their feelings for anybody up to the point where they defeated Chuck are real at all?
Actually, you have a good point, because doesn't Chuck say something about like he brought back Eileen for him?
Oh, testing my knowledge, possibly.
It feels like there's like a little bit of it, because like there's that whole witch fight between, like when she's a ghost and she helps defeat the witches that are after Sam. Yeah,
I think you're right, actually. I think you're right. It would really make you question that, because it's already been done with Mary and John, so why wouldn't Chuck do that to you? You know?
Right, exactly. And try and get his apocalypse again through their children.
I mean, who knows what his, just to mess with Sam. But yeah, you're right. Like, could you just try again? Oh God. And you can even, like, say, like, you can put this to Dean and Cass too, that maybe they would have pursued a relationship if it wasn't for Chuck keeping them apart constantly, because what good does that to him for Dean to be in any way happy? He wants him angry. alone to carry out the apocalypse. Yeah, it's an interesting one. That would be, see, the thing is though, we're talking about it here, that would have actually been like a good reason for him to not end up with Eileen, and if they'd actually like explained it. It's almost tragic because the feelings are still real, but you can't believe that the feelings are real. I love an old tragic love story, me. So that I would have wept tears over that one, but yeah, we never saw it.
No, I mean they had episodes available. I will say that.
Yeah, Baba Yaga.
I was thinking more of the three episode opener.
Oh gosh, yeah, you're right. Why was that so long? Yeah, but yeah, so it's an interesting one. The thing is, I don't think they realise in this conversation the implications that it has on their universe.
Right.
They kind of just said it.
Again, it becomes because Supernatural went on for too long.
Yeah,
they had to drop things, and this was kind of one of them, but not really.
Yeah, this is an important one. This is the core, right? Mm-hmm.
Which makes it really funny that like Dean eventually meets his ancestor.
Yeah,
and
his
ancestor wants to kill him.
I mean,
part of the course of a Winchester, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is it, like the whole Mark of Cain storyline becomes much better once you remember all of this stuff, and I feel like it's half mentioned but not really as well. Mm-hmm. Like it's relying on the audience to remember something that happened 5 years ago,
right,
in a filler episode, no less.
Is it a filler episode though? It kind technically, yes, I think so, but like because it doesn't progress the plot in any way, but it does give. It's an exposition episode. It's not a filler episode.
It gives context. Is there a name for that? Like an episode that's not part of the plot but gives context to the plot. A plontext.
You're just making stuff up now. So Dean's like, so what's the point of this conversation? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to say yes, so what do you want with me? And Michael says,
I just want you to understand what you and I have to do.
And Dean sort of dismissive that. It's like, you've just got beef with your brother. Like, get some therapy, pal. Don't take it out on my planet. Fair?
Yeah.
And Michael responds saying, no, you're wrong. Lucifer defied our father and betrayed me. I don't want to do this any more than you want to kill Sam. And there were times when I think Dean wanted to kill Sam, so maybe. I would say around the time that Ruby and Sam were together, he wanted to kill Sam.
Yeah. I mean, I like this in that, they are showing these similarities between them, but it's so, like, it kind of twists their Sam and Dean's relationship so much. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's...
So this is the other side of the conversation that Lucifer had with Sam like a few episodes ago. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just sort of showing how these two brothers view the situation that they were in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the way that I felt that Lucifer was pandering to Sam, Michael is pandering to Dean.
You're so right. It's not sincere at all.
No, they just want to. I think that all of heaven resents humanity.
Yeah, definitely.
So they are 100% okay with decimating the planet.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And like, it's basically what Dean had said back in It's a Terrible Life, like. Dad's gone, so the angels will throw in a party to get his attention.
Yeah.
So I think it's literally like they're trying to start this so that God will come back and like give them direction.
You're totally right. Yeah, they none of that. I mean, that's been the hard bit for them to deal with, right? That the angels don't care about them any more than demons care about them. They're just cannon fodder, like a playground to have their like battle on. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He then goes on to say, like, you know, my brother, I practically raised him. I took care of him in a way that most people could never understand, and I still love him. See, like, all of this stuff doesn't really make sense to what Lucifer was saying, was that because Lucifer was saying that he idolized Michael. So I don't know. I can't really square that away as like one being raised by the other, but also I don't know.
But it does work. That is how it works between Sam and Dean, though, because Dean did raise Sam, and Sam does idolize Dean as much as it wouldn't admit that. But you think about whenever Sam gets in a pickle, he starts acting more like Dean.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Michael then says, but I'm going to kill him because it's the right thing. It's the right thing, and I have to. And Dean's like, oh, because God said so. Like,
And you're just gonna do whatever God says?
Yes, because I am a good son.
Ooh.
I love Dean's response to that, though. He's just like, trust me, pal, take it from somebody who knows that's a dead-end street. Like, doing exactly as Daddy says is not a good idea.
And I feel like this is part of the problem with why Dean's never going to say yes, because they almost started the apocalypse in the wrong time in Dean's life. I think if they had tried when he was younger, before he would become disillusioned with John, before Sam had died, but then he needed to go to hell to break the first seal. It was almost like in sending him to hell and him being like having to go through all of that, almost ensuring that he was never going to say yes.
Yeah, basically. And like, so I feel like this is almost validation as well for Dean, because, you know, Alistair brought up the fact that for 100 years or whatever, John could say no to the torture, and Dean broke in 40. Well, John, without hesitation, said yes to Michael.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, yes, he didn't know what he got himself into, but also...
Exactly. Nah. Like, because at the time that Dean was being pressured into saying yes was when he was locked in the green room, the angelic green room, and Sam was about to die, like get possessed by Lucifer.
Yeah.
And then actual free will turned up in the form of Cass and stopped that. But like, I don't think he still would have said yes to go help Sam.
No, I don't think so either. You're so right. Yeah, this is validation. Yeah, well done, Dean. Just take it. Take the scraps. Take what you can get, man.
Yeah. Michael goes on a bit of a monologue and basically puts into words what we were saying.
Yeah.
He says, think of a million random acts of chance that let John and Mary be born, to meet, to fall in love, to have the two of you. Think of the million random choices that you make, and yet how each and every one brings you closer to your destiny. Do you know why that is? It's because it's not random, it's not chance, it's a plan that's been playing itself out perfectly.
Free will's an illusion, Dean. That's why you're going to say yes.
It could be worse, you know, like, unlike my brothers, I won't leave you a drooling mess when I'm done wearing you. What do you say to that?
But yeah, that's what I was, you know, that it's confirming everything that Dean knows, that God screwed them over and they're all being like hurtled towards this destiny that he wants no part of. So yeah, free will, let's do it, man.
See, I feel like had Lucifer said all of this to Sam, it would have worked.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe not in the same kind of way, but like... Also, the thing is, Sam is also really afraid of becoming a monster still.
Yeah, he is. You're right.
So that's the only thing that's kind of keeping him from saying yes at this point. But I think I've said this before. It's Sam's intelligence that will get in the way of him ever. And his intelligence and his acceptance of fate. Yeah. He's never fought it.
Yeah, and ultimately, like, he'll think what he thinks is the greater good. That's the problem with Sam.
Yeah.
Whereas like Dean's not saying no for the greater good. Like he thinks he is. Like he thinks he's like saving a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, let's think about where this eventually goes. Ultimately, like Chuck takes everyone off the planet because they're so defiant. And it's only at
they even take the dog.
They even take the dog. And like it's only at that point they're like, oh yeah, take us instead. So I think Dean would have let the world burn before he said yes to Michael.
Yeah.
Because he is again like just like Sam, I think, scared of losing control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so I can't, like, defiant isn't even the right word. Like, there's something above that. That's what Dean is. I can't think of the word.
Stubborn.
Yeah. Like,
obstinate. I don't know.
Yeah, there's like, yeah, just he has a problem with authority.
That's what it ultimately comes down to. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Dean asks, because Michael's just said that, I won't leave you a drooling mess. Mm-hmm. And he asks about John, and he says, well, I'll leave him better than you. In fact, both you and your mum, I'll do them a favor. I'll scrub their minds. They won't remember me or you. I'm just giving your mother what she wants.
She can go back to her husband, her family.
She's gonna walk right into that nursery.
Obviously.
That's part of the plan. I literally just told you that everything happens because it's planned out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change that because you want it changed. Come on, Dean, you're not God as much as you want to think you are. And he says, yeah, you always knew that is going to play out one way or another. You can't fight City Hall.
Mm.
And then he bends down and heals Sam, and Sam vanishes. And he says he's home, safe and sound.
Your turn. I'll see you soon, Dean.
I thought they sent... Yeah, no, never mind. I was going to say, I thought they sent him back to the present day, but they did. Mm. Cass then transports himself back.
Yeah, poor Cass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense because he already said he was depowered and struggling. Mm-hmm. So to try and bring the two of them back to present day,
a lot.
Yeah,
if possible at all. Yeah. So we're back in the motel room where this episode started. Dean's pulling out a bottle and getting some cups out. Joey start drinking because they've learned a lot and none of it's good. Mm-hmm. Sam looks into a mirror and Cass does the thing that he normally does to Dean and disappears behind him. I did love that because it doesn't happen to Sam very often. Mm-hmm. And he's like, Castiel. He also called him Castiel, which is just funny to me. Mm-hmm. But Sam turns around and grabs him, stop him from falling down.
Do you know what made me laugh about this? Sam literally just yelled Castiel. I was like, hey, whoa, quite loudly. Yeah. Dean then turns and is like, Cass! Surprised. Literally, he just said that.
Yeah, but he had to notice him. No. Oh. So, they both help Cass onto a bed or near. No, they're both near him, holding him up at this point. And Sam's like, we got you. And Dean says, you son of a bitch, you made it. And Cass is confused. He's like, oh, I'm very, very surprised. And he just passes out, essentially. So they kind of half drag him, half carry him to a bed and just plop him down, but not fully on. So his feet are still on the floor. Poor Cass. It's not going to be comfortable in the morning. Mm-hmm. And Dean's like, well, I could use that drink now. And pours him some drinks and says,
This is it.
This is what?
Team free will. One ex-blood junkie. One dropout with $6 to his name, and Mr. Comatose over there. It's awesome.
Best line in the series. I do like it. It's very good.
It is very good, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. The thing is, like, I love that Dean did take what Michael said on board about, like, being destiny and stuff, and immediately just went, nah, no, we're team free will.
Exactly. Yeah.
Screw you, Michael. Yeah, it's just, the fact that I don't know. Yeah, there's something about it that's really good. That's why they made t-shirts out of it. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Sam's like, it's not funny. And Dean says, I'm not laughing. It's a little bit funny. So, it's quite seriously, Sam's like, they all will say yes. And Dean's like, I know, it's getting annoying. And they're like, what if they're right? It's like, they're not right. And Sam's kind of doubting himself because he says, I have been weak before. I mean, Dean just called him an ex-blood junkie, so...
Yeah.
And, Michael got Dad to say yes. And Dean's like, well, that was different. Anna was about to kill Mum.
And if you could save Mom, what would you say?
And nothing, there's no answer to that.
No answer to that one.
This is it, isn't it? They keep trying to go after Sam, being like, you can save Sam, you can save the world. But maybe they should have just said to Dean, no, you can have your mother, or you can be transported there. That's a hard one. Maybe. Mm-hmm. They never make him make that choice later on either. So the last scene this episode, we go back to 1978, and Mary's very pregnant now with Dean, and they have a new cot, and they're looking over, and John's asking, like, well, where did you get that? And she said, oh, a garage sale, 25 cents. And he's like, don't you think it's a bit cheesy? And she said, I think it's sweet. And it's like this creepy, smiling angel figurine. It's the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my whole life.
I kind of wish that the angel had black hair.
Yeah. They would never make a figurine like that.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And Mary's saying, like, I can't put my finger on it. I just like it. And John says, well, then I love it. Like, Dean kicks and John feels it, and Mary's like,
troublemaker already. It's okay, baby. It's all okay. Angels are watching over you.
Don't like it.
Yeah. This was Michael not doing a clean wipe, basically.
Ooh, yeah.
And being like, angels are the good guys in this, so like, yep.
It's too much, man. I mean, it does tie in with everything because this is actually a throwback. They did actually make an actual callback to an episode because Dean did say, oh, she always used to say angels are watching over you when she was in bed. So I'm glad they actually finally made a callback to something. I think one of the problems with this is that I can't square in my head this Mary and like later Mary. I don't know.
In what way?
I think it's just like when she comes back, she just immediately goes into like hunter mode. And here she seems to just care about them so much and like about them not being hunters and why did this happen, everything. And I just feel like it's not fully addressed later on. She just sort of like abandons them and goes off and does her own thing with Ketch.
Yeah. Does she remember being a ghost, I wonder? Because that's how she would know that they became hunters.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, no, because I guess she must figure out from like the bunker. And it's just, I just feel like she would have had a similar reaction because she doesn't remember this. She would have had a similar reaction on meeting them later on because it's not actually that long a time between her coming back and her in this episode. It's saying like 4 years, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll be a bit better when I watch it again, but I just could never square away that they're the same person.
She definitely comes back different, but also the problem is that we only see her be a hunter for like 5 minutes.
That's true.
So, the idea, I guess, in these episodes is that she's pretending to be something she's not, and then when she comes back, she doesn't have to pretend anymore. She could just basically do what she wants.
Yeah, you're totally right as well. And when she does come back later, is she also now free of Chuck's influence?
I mean, it's Amara who brings her back, so maybe.
Maybe she actually has free will, you know? So, yeah.
And she doesn't love her children. I'm just kidding.
Well, maybe she never loved John.
That's true, yeah.
I don't know. I'm interested to watch this episode again. Like, it might just be as well that, like, Dean resembles John, so, like, physically, I think. He does, really. And John is... I mean, she wouldn't really recognise John in Sam, like, emotionally, but he's there, right?
Yeah.
That maybe it's just weird being around them, and a bit sad because she doesn't have, John's not there. I don't know. And I'm interested to watch this. I will say this for this episode, it's made me more excited than I was before about watching other episodes. Is that a good reason to like an episode?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if it makes you excited to see the episodes that, because we're gonna have to get through some pretty
dark days.
Dark days. So just knowing that, that there's a connection that's going to be made eventually.
Yeah.
Maybe that will help. I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's fine. It's a fine episode. You're right. It's just exposition, isn't it? They've just crammed a whole load of exposition into one episode that maybe could have been sort of teased out over 2 or 3, I feel.
Yeah.
But fine. You can do that.
But I mean, how would they... The thing is, I do like that the reveal of John being able to be Michael's vessel.
Yes.
Versus just a stranger.
Yeah, no, you're right, actually, that's true. Like, how else was Michael ever going to meet them? I don't think Michael would ever, like, walk the earth in a inferior vessel.
Right.
So he was either going to meet them as John or no one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if Michael is much more limited on who he can possess. So it has to be a Winchester.
Yeah, because maybe as he's not the literal devil, he can't corrupt vessels in the way that Lucifer's doing to Nick. Like, they would just explode. Like, you see them in season 8 when they get, like, angels get the wrong vessels, they literally just explode. And, like, an archangel taking the wrong vessel. Whereas because Lucifer's Lucifer, he's able to, like, maybe... That's quite interesting, actually. I kind of like how they've done that, I've just realised. Because they are literally, like, they explode. But it's almost like Lucifer's doing, like, a controlled burn of Nick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't know. Any more thoughts on this episode?
Not really.
Yeah. No, do you know what? I probably would watch this one again. I'm going to say it. I probably would.
Yeah, I agree.
It explains a lot. I think that's why I do like I like a little bit of explanation sometimes.
Yeah.
But what's the next episode? Is it continuing the plot?
No, of course not. Of course it's not. It's a February episode. So it's My Bloody Valentine.
Oh, wait. See, I get this one confused with the other one.
They go after Cupid.
Yeah, see, I don't know why I get this one and the meat famine episode always confused.
Well, famine is in this.
Oh, I am right then. Okay, good. I am right. I'm glad. Yes. No, I remember now what happens in this episode. I like this one a lot. This is a plot. I think this is a plot episode. I'm going to call it. It's a plot one.
Okay. Well, the fact that Cass is in it, I'll give it to you. It's probably a plot one.
Yeah, for sure.
Or is it plot like how Becky's one line at the end of the episode is plot?
I think it's 2/3 plot, 1/3 monster of the week.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good one, though. Looking forward to this one. It's really good. Okay, right. Let's wrap this up. So, yeah, at the end of this episode, I'd like to thank the Pixel Gore for his wonderful artwork. If you'd like to pick some of that up, go on our Redbubble and see what you can find. And as we said previously, any proceeds from that, we give some back to the artist because, like, you should. And if you'd like to come talk to us on social media and, like, you know, maybe scream about the Winchesters and how it relates to this episode, or like doesn't, or whatever, come find us on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr. We are Escaping Purgatory Podcast. Or on Twitter, we're just Escaping Podcast with name of characters.
There you go. So this week we got transported back in time, met our parents as they were younger, had some inside jokes, and got swooshed back to the future where nothing had changed. Hopefully next week we can find our way out.
Bye.
Bye.